Jai, Tulsi Maharani ki jai. Oh, we offer our most respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnavas of the Lord, who just like desire trees, who can fulfill the desires of everyone. They're full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Okay. Mouse is there. All right. Just double check here. That's working. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Hurad Umadhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Malaba Girivardhare Gopi Jana Malaba Girivardhare Yasunanandana Brajajananandana Yasunanandana Brajajananandana Jamuna Tera Bhajade Yamuna Tera Bhajade Jaya Radhu Madhuva Kunjabi Khaji Jai Radhu Madhava Kunjabi Khaji Gopi Jana Bala Gopa Giri Padati Gopi Jana Bala Ba Giri Padati Yasodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tera Vanachari Yamunate Ravanachate. Jai Hurad Umadapa Kunabihati. Jai Hurad Madhuva Kunabihati. Jai Om Vishnu Pad. Shishi Radhakrishna Gopikapanath Sai Mukunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Kijai Vrindavanam Kijai Mathura Jagannath Swami Kijai Yamunamai Kijai Shrimati Lasi Devi Kijai Samavita Bhakta Vrinda Kijai Go all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharni Nivashesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deja Tarane Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So today we are reading from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 41st chapter, text 52. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. Iti tasmai varang gatva shriyam chanviha vardanim balam ayur yasha kanting nirjagama Sahagraja iti tasmai varam dattva Shriyam chanvaya vardinim balam ayur yashakantim nirjagama sahagraja Iti tasmai varang dattva Shriham chanvaya varakin avarat vardanim Balamayur yashakantim Nirjagama sahagraja Iti tasmai varham dattva Shriyam chanvaya vardhanim Balamayur yashakantim Nirjagama sahagraja. Okay. Okay. Iti thus tasmai to him. Varam, the benediction. Tattva, giving. Shriyam, opulence. Cha, and. Anvaya, his family. Vardinim, expanding. Balam, strength. Ayu, long life. Yasha, fame. Kantim, beauty. Nirjagama, he left. Saha, together with. Agraja, his elder brother, Lord Balaram. So, translation. Not only did Lord Krishna grant Sudama these benedictions, but he also awarded him strength, long life, fame, beauty, and ever increasing prosperity for his family. Then Krishna and his elder brother took their leave. You can repeat. Not only did Lord Krishna grant Sudama these benedictions, but he also awarded him strength, long life, fame, beauty, and ever increasing prosperity for his family. Then Krishna and his elder brother took their leave. So, purport by the followers of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, we can see a clear difference between Lord Krishna's dealings with the nasty washerman and his dealings with the devoted florist Sudama. The Lord is as hard as a thunderbolt for those who defy him and as soft as a rose for those who surrender to him. Therefore, we should all sincerely surrender to Lord Krishna, since that is clearly in our self-interest. It's actually quite humorous. Let me just comment on that. So, do the verse again because it's iti tasmai varam datva shriyam chanvaya vardinim valam mayor yasha kantim nirjagama sahagraja. So omagana chimrandasha gananjana shalakaya chakshurun militam yena tasmai shi gurve namaha. So, actually, I just wanted to comment on the purport by the followers of Srila Prabhupada. That's quite interesting. The commentary here, which is actually a little bit different than the Acharya's commentaries on this. It's just like the reason we should sincerely surrender to Krishna is we want Krishna to be soft with us. It's like, threat. The threat. If you are not surrendered to Krishna, Krishna's going to smash you. And we've heard that many times before, actually, even before I joined the Krishna conscious movement. My mother would say, if you're not don't do what I say, the Lord will punish you. You heard that too, I'm sure. No, not the Lord. God will punish you. And then if anything happened to me, like if I slipped, I cut myself or whatever, God is punishing you for not listening to me. So it's not. From my point of view, that's probably not the best motivation to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because the actual surrender, Sharanagati, that's what surrender is, comprises 6 different principles or activities or aspects of consciousness, to accept everything favorable, to reject everything unfavorable, to understand the Lord is always maintaining one, always protecting one, to have no separate interest other than the interest of the Lord, and always be meek and humble, which is the hardest one. So And all this has to be done with what we call shraddha. So this word shraddha, it was a very interesting definition, and this definition was given to me by Rita Nandamaharsh, who's a Sanskrit expert. Uh, Shra, he said, is very etymologically connected with Shrak, which means the heart, and Da means to give. You understand? Giving the heart. So when one is under duress or threat, one is not likely to give the heart. Just like when I was young, sometimes people would twist other people's arms and say, "Uncle, do you surrender?" Yes, I surrender. Or you put a gun to someone's head, do you surrender? So, uh, with that in mind, I'm going to read the purports by the acharyas right here. Uh, and it's true. Actually, it is in our self interest to sincerely surrender to the Lord Krishna. However, I don't want to do it because I'm afraid he's going to smash me. So, anyway, let's go on to the commentary here. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments, they gave the garland maker strength, power, wealth, and beauty, though he did not desire them. This was a response to his enthusiastic desire to give Krishna and Balaram. In all cases, affection for the Lord's devotee is the dominant rule. Krishna's affection. And of course, that's connected to this verse Sarvo Hridayam Mayam Sadhanam Hridayam Twaham Madanyatana Janati Naham Tebyo Managapi, where Krishna is saying, which is actually the same thing as the Bhagavad Gita teaches us, is Yayata Mam Prapachante Tam Sataiva Bhajamiham. Krishna says that Yayata Mam Prapachante, as they surrender unto me or as they reciprocate with me, I reciprocate with them. So this verse, Sadhava Riyam Mayam, that these sages have me in their heart or in their hearts. And I, in a reciprocation with them, I'm paraphrasing the verse, have them in my heart. You understand? So it's like, just like the devotee is meditating on Krishna in his heart, and Krishna is meditating on the devotee in his heart. It's quite interesting, this reciprocation. And then Maranyat Tena Janati, they do not know anyone else other than me as theirs. In other words, that's a possessive case, isn't it? That Krishna belongs to me. That's a very intimate relationship. In the Isopanishad, we find that everything belongs to Krishna, right? Isn't it? Ishavashamidam saram yatkancha jagadam jagat. Tena jaktena bunjada margritha krishasvid. Everything is owned and controlled by God. But then the pure devotee, he owns and controls God. Krishna say Tamar, Krishna dite par. Krishna is yours. Talking about the Guru Dev Acharya, you have the power to give him to me. So Prabhupada has the power to give Krishna to us. So Krishna belongs to Prabhupada. It's nice, isn't it? You think about it. Krishna belongs to Prabhupada. So therefore, if we run behind Prabhupada shouting, Krishna, Krishna, or not just run behind him shouting, Krishna, Krishna, serve him. Of course, that's what the acharyas said. We're simply running behind you, shouting, Krishna, Krishna. It'd be interesting if someone did that with Prabhupada. Krishna, Krishna. And then, anyway, I was listening to a conversation. What was it yesterday? I was listening to the conversation where this impersonalist was saying that it doesn't matter what you do. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, everyone follows the same path. One sense, we may be considered to be on the same path, but we're going in different directions.
Some people are going the opposite direction. And some people are taking a detour. So, so it's interesting. In all cases, affection for the Lord's devotee is the dominant rule. In other words, the Lord's affection for us is a dominant. That's it's dominant. Means it's predominant. It's just like the most important rule is that Krishna loves us. Wow, that's kind of nice. Like you have the song Christianity, was it Jesus loves the little children? Well, Jesus also loves the old people too, thank you. He loves the children, that's true. But why not people like me? He loves the soul, regardless of the body. So Jiva Goswami comments, why did Krishna not give him benedictions since he's most generous? And of course he did. After he prayed for bhakti, Krishna gave him all wealth. The word cha indicates all. Another version has anvaya vardhanam, increased descendants, instead of vardhanim, which means opulence for his descendants. Instead of anvaya vardhanim, uninterrupted wealth in his dynasty. Vishnu Purana says, Bala anirnate somya dhana aniratapiva yavadinani tavachana na shishyati santaye muktva cha vipulan bhogam swam antimat prasadata amamanusmaranam prapya divyam lokam avapsyasi dharme manaschate padra sarvakalam bhavishyati yushmat sankti jatanam dirgamayur bhavishyati no pasaragadikam dosham yusmat santati sambhava avapsyati mahabhagaya vatsuryo bhavishyati. As long as you live on this earth, you will not decrease in strength. Your wealth will not decrease, and your offspring will not perish. Offspring will not perish. After enjoying my mercy, finally remembering me, you will attain the spiritual world. Boy, I'd love to have that benediction. O auspicious one, your mind will be fixed in Dharma at all times. Your offspring will have long life. O fortunate one, your offspring will not experience troubles as long as the sun exists. Strength, long life, fame, beauty, and ever increasing prosperity for his family are all aspects of Shriyam Anvaya Vardhanim. Then, after giving benedictions, Krishna left Sudama's house with his elder brother. Thus end the purports of the humble servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to the 10th canto, 41st chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Krishna and Balaram Enter Mathura. So, Om Gana Timiranda Shah Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, one may question why Krishna is giving these benedictions, which are actually impediments sometimes for devotees, isn't it? Queen Kunti, one of my favorite verses, Janmaishvarya Shutasya Shibiredamana Dalpuman. She says that, these are impediments. Please remove these impediments. Janma, having good birth, good family that you're proud of. Aishvarya, having opulence, which is also mentioned in this particular. Shrutasya, being intelligent or clear mind. And Shribir, being beautiful or attractive in this way. And these things are very bewildering, or what to speak of fame, as we know, because fame, which was one of the benedictions given to Sunam, is one of the primary examples that devotees develop in arthas, according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and the other acharyas. One of the causes of anarthas is that the byproducts of bhakti. And what is the byproduct of bhakti? Somehow or other, like Prabhupada's example, that when Prabhupada, of course, initially Krishna took everything away, but when Prabhupada became prominent in the Western world, that there was so much wealth, and Prabhupada even talked about wealth, isn't it? When he was giving lectures, especially in India, to impress the people in India so that they would take up the Krishna conscious movement because they were very much hankering after wealth. Prabhupada would say that, so many books were distributing every day, so much money were taking in, lakhs and lakhs of rupees were taking in. And Prabhupada had so much fame and everything like that. So for a pure devotee, that's not a problem. But for the rest of us, it's a cause of anarthas. Because when you're famous, then everything is offered to you. Uh, and so you're wanting more and more if you're not pure devotee. Uh, Kama, Krodha. You get angry if you don't have it, if someone doesn't respect you or sing your name. Let's say if you're a guru. And, and you're just like, they're singing my name. That's my picture on the altar. Not your picture, it's the picture of your body, Prabhu, or Maharaj, as the case may be. Look at me. They didn't get me from the right angle. Like that. So, isn't it? I mean, you can imagine that, like, for conditioned soul, people at January are having a giant birthday party. Just like yesterday, there was a birthday party. I don't think there was any false pride in that birthday party, but anyway. So, but when I was young, I had my birthday parties, and it's all about me, right? That's what a birthday party, even for a kid, it's all about them. But actually encourages them in Krishna consciousness because we sort of dovetail it in Krishna consciousness. But it's, there's birthday parties, books about you. People pay your plane ticket to go places. They're so happy they cook for you. Wow. This is like the life of Riley. I don't know if you know what that means. But anyway, um, so it's a cause of anarthas. And so it's very dangerous to have these things. These are attractive features that are very dangerous, especially this prestige or position or reputation like that. And of course, sometimes Krishna takes away. So counteracting this particular tendency that we have uh, to enjoy this material world and saving us, Krishna has this very interesting verse in the 10th canto, uh, the 88th chapter, text 8. And it's one of the most famous verses, which Prabhupada loved to quote. I looked up this verse yesterday in the Veda base, and wow, Prabhupada quoted this verse maybe hundreds of times. And he related this verse to his own situation out of humility. And of course, this verse is Yashaham Anugraname Horishe Tadanam Shanai Tato Danam Tajant Yasha Swajana Sukha Duki Tam. And it's a frightening verse, isn't it? When you think about it. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, translation, if I especially favor someone, you may be thinking after you hear this verse, you don't want to be especially favored by Krishna. You just want, the kindness, the soft as a rose stuff rather than hard as a thunderbolt. That's frightening, hard as a thunderbolt. When I especially favor someone, I gradually deprive him of wealth, of his wealth. Gradually. Things start to disappear. Then the relatives and friends of such a poverty stricken man abandon him. In this way, he suffers one distress after another. And here, Prabhupada explains this. Of course, that verse was commented on by Prabhupada's followers, but I'm going to read some of Prabhupada's explanations in other places. For example, in the 5th canto, 14th chapter, text 10, Prabhupada gives a description of this particular verse. Lord Krishna says that he takes everything away from the devotee whom he especially favors when that devotee is overly attached to material possessions. So that's a reason not to be attached to your material possessions, because Krishna's going to take them away if you're attached. So how do you become unattached to your material possessions? This is another question. You know, my possessions. First of all, we should understand Ishavasham again, isn't it? They belong to Krishna. They're not your material possessions. A devotee can't have material possessions, although sometimes it's described that a devotee is not attached to his material possessions. An actual devotee doesn't have material possessions. Because what is material? Material is not necessarily the physical elements. We're using the word material in a different context right now. Generally, when we talk about material, we're referring to what? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. But in this particular context, we're talking about material as something that is used for one's own sense gratification and not used for the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So actually, a devotee doesn't have material possessions. And if you understand that my possessions or what's been given to me is lent to me, it's, as the Upanishad says, it's my quota in my work for the boss. Just like if you, for example, we have one devotee who works for the bank and he finances cars. And in his financing cars, he's given a computer. Now, on that computer, he's not supposed to watch Netflix. If he watches Netflix, he loses his job. Or what to speak of something more nefarious than watching Netflix. I don't know if that's, I guess it's nefarious, but anyway, sometimes. Because there are Christian conscious movies. So, because it belongs to the company, it's meant to be used for the company. It has certain parts of it meant to be used for the company. So that's the point. Everything belongs to Krishna. And therefore, we have no material possessions. It's all Krishna. And even the body, you could say, my body, it's Krishna, well, not Krishna's spiritual body, but it's the body belongs to Krishna. When everything is taken away, the devotee feels helpless and frustrated in society, friendship, and love. He feels that his family does not care for him any longer. Prabhupada had that experience. And he therefore completely surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. This is a special favor granted to the Lord, by the Lord to a devotee who cannot fully surrender to the Lord due to a strong bodily conception. So here, Prabhupada is qualifying this particular statement of Krishna in the 10th canto, that those who cannot surrender to the Lord due to a strong bodily conception, Krishna takes things away. Krishna, it may be not only taking away wealth, but it may be taking away your health, and maybe you have some health challenges. Devotees should see those health challenges as being arranged by Krishna. Whoops, I think I skipped something here. As explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22:39, Ami Vigna e Murke. This is a wonderful verse. Vishaya Kena Diba. The Lord understands the devotee who hesitates. I'm going to read some of these verses in a second. Understands the devotee hesitates to engage in the Lord's service, not knowing whether he should again try to revive his material life. Maybe there's a chance for me. So, actually, another verse is that once one takes up Krishna consciousness, his material life is spoiled. He can never again enjoy material life in the same way because he knows better. There's always this nagging Krishna in the back of your mind telling you this is nonsense. After repeated attempts and failures, he fully surrenders to the lotus feet of the Lord. The Lord gives him directions, and attaining happiness, he forgets all material engagement. So I'm going to read those verses from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anyakami yarikare krishnera bhajana na magiteya krishna tare dena swacharana. If those who desire material enjoyment or merge into the existence of the absolute truth engage in the Lord's transcendental loving service, they will immediately attain shelter at Krishna's lotus feet. Although they did not ask for it, Krishna is therefore very merciful. And here's the uh, interesting verse. Actually, the next few verses. Krishna kahe ami vaje mage vishaya sukha amrita chari vishamage ebada morka. Krishna says, if one engages in my transcendental loving service, but at the same time wants to enjoy the opulence of the material world, he is very, very foolish. Indeed, he is just like a person who gives up ambrosia to drink poison. Amivigya emorke vishaya kena diba swacharanamrita dia vishaya bulaiba. Since I am very intelligent, why should I give this fool material prosperity? Uh, Instead, I shall induce him to take the nectar, the shelter of my lotus feet, and make him forget illusory material enjoyment. Whew. This is really interesting. I have a lot of quotes here. So here's another quote in relationship to today, also from the Madhya Lila. Whenever Krishna is requested to fulfill one's desire, he undoubtedly does so, but he does not award anything which, after being enjoyed, will cause one to petition him again and again to fulfill further desires. When one has other desires but engaged in the Lord's service, Krishna forcibly gives one shelter at his lotus feet, where one will forget all other desires. That's the word forcibly. When someone engages in Lord Krishna's devotional service for the satisfaction of the senses, this is all from Madhya Lila. The satisfaction of the senses, and instead acquires a taste for serving Krishna, he gives up his material desires and willingly offers willingly offers himself as an eternal servant to Krishna. I have a lot of quotes. I wanted to read about Prabhupada's own experience. And Prabhupada said, quoting, talking about 1088.8, yes, that is my first business. If I especially favor someone, then I take away all his sources of income, and then I take away all of his and place him into great difficulty. In this way, Krishna is very dangerous, Prabhupada said. That's interesting. Krishna is very dangerous. I have actual experience in this connection, Prabhupada. I do not wish to narrate this whole story, but he goes ahead and narrates it. But it is a fact that I received Krishna's special mercy in this favor in this way. When I was 25 years old, my Guru Maharaj, my spiritual master, ordered me to go preach. But I thought, first of all, I shall become a rich man. Then I shall use my money to finance the preaching work. Of course, there was no material desire. I had good opportunities to become a very rich businessman. An astrologer even told me that I would have become as rich as the wealthiest man in India. And actually, Prabhupada did by coming to the West. There were very good chances. I was the manager of a big chemical factory. I started my own factory, and the business was very successful. But eventually, everything collapsed. And in this way, I was forced into the position of carrying out the orders of my Guru Maharaj. When all my material assets were taken away, then I approached Krishna saying, you are the only shelter. Of course, Prabhupada was always completely surrendered to Krishna. But he's setting this example for us, an acharya. An acharya sometimes, like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it appeared that he was simply interested in logic, nyaya, before he took initiation. But then after he took initiation, he exhibited his pastimes as Krishna in the mood of his devotee, Radharani. So in the same way, Prabhupada went through these different stages in life to teach us about Krishna. Prabhupada's teaching us how to be a devotee. Oftentimes I say that Prabhupada's life is Bhagavad Gita in action. If you really want to understand the Bhagavad Gita, study Prabhupada's life. Otherwise, it may appear very theoretical to you. When all my material assets were taken away, then I approached Krishna saying, you are the only shelter. Therefore, Krishna is a kinchana vita, the property of the material impoverished. When one is bereft of all material opulences, then one turns to Krishna. Now, I am realizing that I have not lost, but gained. So to lose material opulences for Krishna's sake is not a loss. Rather, it is the greatest gain. When one becomes a kinchana gochara, having nothing to possess, Krishna becomes one's only riches. Just think about that. Krishna becomes one's only riches. Therefore, the devotee, in the conversation between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Roy, the question was, who is the richest man? A devotee is the richest man, was the answer. Narottama Das Thakur says, Haha Prabhu Nanda Sutta Vrishabhanu Sutta Yuta Korana Karaha Ebaro Narottama Dasa Koi Nateliha Ranga Poi Toma Vine Keache Amar. Krishna, but for you I have nothing to claim. I have no possessions. You are my only possession. So please don't neglect me. Another statement by Prabhupada elsewhere. Namo Kinchana Vritaya Nivrita Guna Vritaya. That's also Queen Kunti's prayer. When one takes you as one's only possession, one immediately becomes free from the activities of the material nature. In other words, by accepting Krishna in this way, one attains the transcendental position of the absolute, Atma Ramaya. At that time, one becomes happy with you, Krishna. You are happy with yourself, and one who surrenders to you becomes happy as you are. So anyway, so this is the general principle, but in the case of Sudama the florist, we can understand he was already completely surrendered to Krishna. Therefore, Krishna was able to give him everything. As Prabhupada, in his own pastime, showed that Krishna gave him everything. He gave up, or Krishna took away his family, which was very unsubmissive, his wife and other aspects of his family. Krishna took away this external family from Srila Prabhupada, and then Krishna gave him, like Prabhupada said, so many children who were very obedient to him. Isn't it? So many sons and daughters who listened to every word with bated breath and ready to do whatever Prabhupada wanted whenever he asked for them. Ready to give up eating, sleeping, mating, defending, everything like that to please Prabhupada. So Prabhupada's life is a perfect example. Yes, and Purvaji.
I guess 50 years ago when Srila Prabhupada was with us, and he never did all these birthdays and Christmas parties, and I'm just wondering, I don't want to be a party pooper, but really, with Prabhupada, our guiding principle is Yasha Prasada.
Yeah.
So how would he feel about this whole?
Actually, utility is the principle, was Prabhupada's mode. And if something can encourage, especially a little child, to stay in Krishna consciousness, you have to see the result. Palena parachiyate. I think that was Prabhupada's general principle. If something would put people more into body consciousness, and I'm not making a judgment pro or con on birthdays and everything like that, then it should not be accepted. But if something would actually encourage people, like children having a fun time, if you remember your childhood and there was nothing fun and it was connected with Krishna, you probably wouldn't want to be Krishna conscious, so sometimes if we get too strict in our application, then it may discourage people. So it's like there has to be some sense gratification. It's like Prabhupada said they have to put some salt in the sabji, right? Too much salt and you get sick. Too little salt and it's tasteless. It's like what I have to eat every day.
Yeah.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanbanda Paravindalayatatam Bhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundaram Dandar Atom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Andani Asnasa Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Bhakti Kayanti Viranti Ananda Chimaya Sadhu Dara Vikrasya
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Govindam Adipurusham
Namah Vishnu Vajaya Krishna Prastaya Dalai Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Dhaminiti Namine Bhakti Vedanta Dhaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauramani Pacha Nivesesha Shunyavade Vasyachade Sacharante Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadada Siva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindana Sri Krishna Nityananda Yadvaita Ananda Siva Sade Go back to Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Brahmanityananda Sri Advaita Gachara Siva Sade Go back to Vrinda Shri Advaita Gachara Siva Sade Gauraktapin Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Apunichana Nago Shri Advaita Gachara Siva Sade Gauraktapin Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hare Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hare Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radha Lokinana Radha Lokinana Radhe. Jaya Radha Lokinana Radha Lokinana Radhe. Jaya Radhe 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 Radhe. Radhe 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 Lahu Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Sri Radhe Jai Om Vishnupad. Paramahams. ISKCON. Prabhu Nityananda Shidway to Gadadha Shiva Siddhi Gaur Bhakta Vrindikajai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopadat Sayam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Machuram Ki Jai Jagannath Swami Ki Jai Manamai Ki Jai Humani Last Devi Ki Jai Samveda Bhakta Shaya Kairabhya Chandrika Vitaranam Vijavada Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Pranamritasvadanam Arvadmasnapanam Jayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Nam Akari Bahudani Jasarva Shaktish Tatrapitani Mata Smaranayana Kala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Trinada Peace, Siddhina, Radha, Siddhina, Amana, Deva, Kirtanira, Sadari, Nadanam, Najanam, Nasundari, Kaitam, Bhagavati, Shikari, Mama Janmani, Janmani, Shikray, Avatar, Bhakti, Harikati, Kwaye, Ainanda, Tanam, Chitikaram, Pasutam, Vishmay, Bambudo, Kripya, Tapapat, Pangatas, Nayanam, Galudashu, Dareha, Vadanam, Gadadavadhyagara, Pulaka, Nityatam, Kukutra, Kavanam, Rane, Vivishti, Yugai, Tam, Jinchena, Chatyutra, Chayitam, Jinayatam, Jagat Sarvam, Govinda, Vidahe, Asmishiva, Pradam, Rastumam, Adarshanam, Amatam, Karotava, Yatadata, Vadratu, Vampato, Vasprananatas, Nisevanapraha, victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which planted in the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large. It spreads the rays of the benediction moon, is the life of all transcendental knowledge, and increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh, my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. Once you chant the holy name of the Lord in the humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street, one should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love, flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And when will the hairs of my body stand on at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna is my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything. He is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. Shikshashtika ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Shikshashtika.